Hello. So it's time to get back from the Christmas or winter holiday break. Um, so I attended another retreat by Francis Lucille, who is also my teacher in non-duality. And what I wanted to speak today is truth of being. During this retreat, I understood that the understanding that consciousness is universal, timeless, immutable, imperishable, infinite, whatever word you want to use about it. It had become stable for me, which means it is independent of the state of the mind or the body. I don't know how long this understanding has been in this way, but it was confirmed during this retreat. It was quite an ordinary experience. I just talked with some friends, and then I realized that in my being, I know it as an absolute fact that consciousness is universal and that it is our shared essence. I guess I had been expecting maybe a deeper glimpse or an event or something like that, because I also realized that I had equated knowing the truth with certain kinds of bodily sensations and feelings. So, for example, previously when I've had these deep glimpses of the truth, they were always associated with very extraordinary, very profound feelings and thoughts in the mind and feelings in the body. But now the truth is just there. The body can be tense, the body can be relaxed. There can be thoughts in the mind, or not so many thoughts in the mind, but the understanding, it's just there. It hasn't moved, not even for a second. So it is this truth of being, which is independent, ultimately, from the body or from the mind. that we are interested here and in our meditation sessions and satsangs. For now, I can explain the difference really well between one could practice these deep transcendental meditations to get into incredible states. One could consume psychedelics to get into incredible states. One could just experience states of awe, divinity, etc. But that's not it. Even if your world of perceptions were to change, the floor would become space and you would experience yourselves as this divine spirit flying in a colorful cosmos. It would still be a phenomenal event. Whether you are perceiving with your eyes or whether the perception has changed in some way, you are still perceiving, and the fact of perception remains the same. And that which is perceived never stays the same. The world of perception is always changing, whether it's something we feel, something we see, something we hear. And also, in the world of perceptions, we don't want the same thing too much. If you experience this kind of ecstasy too much, you get bored. You start to want for something else. It's the world of opposites also. It's not meant to be stable, or it's always a changing experience. But the truth of being, it penetrates all dimensions. I don't know what is the next evolutionary stage when we leave the physical body. Maybe there is another stage and another stage after that, and who knows how many after that. But the perceiving consciousness, that is always true. Life is often said to be something like a dream. It's true that the perceptions, as soon as they're noticed, they are already the past. So it is somewhat of a dreamlike world. But whether this waking state is a sort of dream or not, we are. The truth of being is. like the great sage Parmenides, who was the teacher of Socrates, pointed out, being is, non-being is not. So the non-dual truth was already there at the birthplace of our Western civilization in ancient Greece. Not that many have realized that the greatest ancient teachers in ancient Greece were also sages. This truth of being, nothing happens to it. Even if humans develop wormhole gates and teleports and all the science fiction stuff, even if those were to become reality, nothing would happen to the truth of being. It would be not impacted in any way. Consciousness always knows itself. Consciousness always experiences itself. The truth of who we are is not a phenomenal experience, even though this realization may cause tremendous thoughts and feelings and perceptions. But not even these mystical experiences stick to it or add anything to it or remove anything from it. For me, I explored these matters for about 8 years before I felt I wanted to meet a teacher. Then I spent a couple of retreats with Francis, and everything has just become so clear. There is something about communicating, being in the presence of someone who knows their true nature as consciousness, unlimited, and whole. That allows this deep intuition that we have of our infinite nature to become clear. I really don't know how it happened. I just realized that in one moment that I knew it with absolute certainty. Power of truth. It is it seems so inadequate to put any words to it. It is like Lao Tse said, the Tao that can be named is not the real Tao. But to speak of it is such a joy. I'm sure that's why he wrote the book, The Tao Te Ching, being fully aware that everything written is in some way inadequate. So next month, January, the Cosmic Dancer will travel to the holographic island where we meet the ghost of Lao Tse. And I will contemplate his teachings and interpret the Tao Te Ching in our meditations. Lao Tse is the most mythical figure of them all. No, nothing is known of him. There is a rumor that when he was retiring, a guard at the city gate asked him to leave something behind of his wisdom, and that by that prompt he wrote the Tao Te Ching. But this is a mythical tale. We have no way to verify it. But what we do have for a fact is the book. So if you want to get in touch with the Tao Te Ching through my being, you are most warmly welcome to attend our meetings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The meetings will begin on Tuesday, 7th of January. I hope to see you there. Goodbye and have a very happy new year.